Welcome, world travelers. This is Music is a Journey. I'm Peter. Today's video is a thread for Jack over at the CD Cave. Well, actually, Jack and his charming wife, Debi. Oh, it could be the other way around too. It could be Debi and her charming husband, Jack, however you want to look at it. Anyway, Jack and Debi over at the CD Cave. Jack and Debi at the CD Cave have put together a thread about world travel. Show 5 albums or songs that include the name of a place that you would really love to visit. So I'm jumping on this one right away. First place, we are going with Don Airy to K2, and it is not because I specifically feel I need to climb K2. I think that's out of the question, but I want to go to the Karakora Mountains, and I would love to spend some time there photographing the scenery. Himalayas would also be fine too, but since Don Airy's got K2 on the go here, we're going to see K2 and the Karakora Mountains. Now for my next stop, it's not that far away. We are going to a place called Dunhuang in China. I have actually been there before. Dunhuang is the title of this album. The English title underneath is Romantic Energy, but that has nothing to do with what Dunhuang means. Dunhuang is the name of a place out at the edge of the Gobi Desert in China. I went there in 2001. My wife and I, when we were still dating at the time, rented bicycles and rode out in the early morning to the edge of the desert and climbed a sand dune to photograph the sunrise. We also rode camels, did some sand sledding. It's a really cool place. And I only had a short time to spend there, but I would really like to go back and spend more time around the desert as well, head westward over to Xinjiang province in China, where there's some fantastic desert scenery, rock formations, canyons, rainbow-colored hills, all sorts of really cool stuff. So we're going to head out to Dunhuang in China, and after spending a few days there, head west, young man, or middle-aged man. Anyway, that, by the way, is by the 12 Girls Band. I don't know how it's pronounced in Chinese exactly. Japanese, it's Joshi Junigakubo. Chinese, it's more like Nuzui Shi and something. But anyways, the 12 Girls Band. Interesting stuff. So then we're going to take a big jump and head up to Pond Inlet with Susanna Glukark, who is an Inuit singer from Canada. Pond Inlet is a small community way up at the northern end of Baffin Island. Now, it is not specifically the community of Pond Inlet I want to see, but it puts me on Baffin Island, particularly way up in the north end, which means I'm not far from Ellesmere Island either. The location of Pond Inlet, from across the strait, you can look over to a glacier-covered island that is a national park. And then, of course, behind Pond Inlet again, you got rocky mountains covered in ice and so on. And I just love that kind of stuff. I would really love to fly like a small plane, like a bush plane. Well, I don't do the flying. I'm in a bush plane flying over this landscape of Baffin Island or Ellesmere Island or whatever, and I'm photographing out the window because I love aerial photography and I love rocky, snowy, icy places as well. So that's Pond Inlet on northern Baffin Island with Susanna Glukark. And then, while we're on the North American continent, we're going to go with Deep Purple. Oh, hello, Don Airy, you're back again. We're going to go with Deep Purple down to Las Vegas. There is a song on here called One Night in Vegas. There's One Night in Vegas, right? Yes, from the Infinite album. However, I don't even need One Night in Vegas. The moment I get there, I'm renting a car. I'm driving to the Valley of Fire State Park, which is not that far out of Las Vegas. I went there in 2010. That's exactly what I did. Rented a car, drove off in the early morning. Only spent 2 hours there, which was just scratching the surface. I just got a few photographs of one particular area. And then after that, I went off to Zion Canyon and later on Bryce Canyon. I would really like to go back to Valley of Fire State Park and spend at least a couple of sunrises and sunsets around there. Probably need a little bit more time. As well, just outside of Las Vegas, there is Red Rock Canyon. I spent about 45 minutes there at dusk because I just really didn't have the time for it. And if I have more time, I could also drive down to see the Grand Canyon. So yeah, we're going to Las Vegas just as a jumping off point to see all this fantastic rocky desert scenery that's around that part of the United States. And while we're on the desert theme, we are going to head on over to Egypt. We're going there with The Memory of Ronnie James Dio. This is an anthology including songs from his years with Elf, Rainbow, Black Sabbath, and Dio. On the second album, Last in Line, I used to have it on cassette. I still don't have the CD yet, but there's a song called Egypt, the Chains Are On. So we're heading to Egypt. Yeah, we might as well check out some of the famous sites like, you know, the pyramids and all that kind of stuff. But I want to head out into the desert more. There are some spectacular white rock formations out there I would really love to see. And after that, if we've got time and money, we're just going to keep heading out over the Sahara Desert, not only to capture the dunes, but there were all these rocky landscape places. Some of them are ancient volcanic sites where the lava has mixed with the sand of the desert, contrasting with this golden sand with black ancient rock, black and red rock. Other places, it's just sedimentary rock layers that have been worn away by the blowing sand and the wind, and you get these fantastic landscapes that look like they're straight out of the pod racing scenes in Tatooine, on Tatooine in Star Wars Episode 1. So yeah, that is going to be that. Stop there, Egypt, and the northern Sahara area, actually Sahara area just for all these rocks and sand dunes and so on that I would love to see. Okay, there are other places too I would have picked, but Jack and Debbie asked for just 5, so that's my 5 to the contribution to their thread of world travel through music. How about your music collection? Where is it going to take you? Hope I get a chance to see some of your videos. Thank you so much for watching this one, and the link to Jack and Debbie's thread is in the description below. Jump on the thread, why don't you? All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.